We are recording now. So welcome. This is our introduction and orientation to the Empathy Circle Facilitator Training. And I'm Edwin Rutch. I'm director of the Center for Building a Culture of Empathy. And for about the past 14 years, I've been working on empathy. How do we create a more empathic society? I started as mentioned, the Center for Building a Culture of Empathy, which is the website cultureofempathy.com is the largest website for empathy-related material. There's about 300 interviews with authors and experts on the topic of empathy. All those books there, they're all 3 rows of books. They're all books on empathy, and I've interviewed most of the authors and posted those. Just did a couple more interviews the last couple days too and posted those. And you can see that at empathycircle.com. Also developed the Empathy Circle practice based on the work of Carl Rogers. Is a very simple relational building skill, sort of this foundational, I found it the best foundational skill for building empathy. So the easiest first step practice. I mean, if you really start mastering this, there's a lot of different directions you can go, but I find it the easiest first step practice. So what I wanted to do, I'm going to just give a little bit of show a little screenshot here of an outline of what we want to do today. And we're going to do the welcome, which I'm doing at the moment. We're going to go around and just hear from all the participants, each of you, just a few words of introduction. I'm going to review the training. There's an admit someone. We're going to talk about the training. Can I give you an overview of the training, give you some time for question and answers, and then we're actually going to take part in an empathy circle. We'll review how to take part in an empathy circle, and then we'll do one, and then we'll have about a 10-minute debrief at the end. So that's a bit of our plan. So with that, we could get started. Just we'll go around and I'll just call on everyone and just say your name, where you're located and why you're interested in being an Empathy Circle facilitator. And I'll just model it. Edwin Rutch, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. And I just find empathy circles as the easiest first step gateway practice. You just get a lot of benefits from the empathy circle. And sort of my goal or vision is really to build a more empathic society. And if we can get every person on the planet, all 7.5 or whatever it is, billion people just to learn this simple practice, I just think it would really contribute to the global and human well-being. So that's really what's behind my motivation. Bill, would you be willing to go?
Sure, I'd be happy to. My name is Bill Filler. I'm a retired special education teacher near Edwin in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've been involved with the Empathy Tent and Building Culture of Empathy for about 3 years. I'm one of the trainers of the facilitation along with Lou and Edwin. And so I hope to, I have to go grocery shopping. So I hope I get those 8 billion people in the next 45 minutes before I have to go grocery shopping. It might take a while. Thanks a lot.
It's a lifelong endeavor, Bill. We got you hooked for life. Do you want to just call on people? Would you be willing
sure,
to do that,
absolutely.
Bill?
Sally, you want to introduce yourself?
Are you talking to me?
I'm sorry, no, Sally. I'm just going around my screen.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, Sally Rodeman. I live in the foothills of the Sierras, Cathy's Valley. I've done empathy on and off for many years and find it to be the most important thing for our future and would like to prove my training and as well as serve as a mechanism for me to be a trainer and look forward to this. Thank you.
Great. Welcome, Sally. Sally's been around for a while. It's good to see you again. Linda.
Hi, it's good to be here. I'm calling in from West Wales in the United Kingdom, and my interest in empathic listening is probably born out of some experience with training in counselling skills, and I'm particularly interested in developing my skills at the moment because of the situation that we all find ourselves in terms of moving through a pandemic to possibly perhaps a different way of being with each other. So I'm very interested in potentially offering empathic listening circles to my local community of about 6,500 people in some small communities in West Wales. So that's
Great.
me.
Well, thanks for coming, and thanks for joining our cause here. Graham?
Thank you, Bill. I'm, as you can see from my little name caption there, I'm in Ontario in Canada, and I'm also in the Cohort 8 Facilitator Training facility. And empathy for me is vital for any kind of communication, any kind of human communication, human-animal communication. Even when I talk to my cat, I try to empathize. I watch its tail and try to read its body language, for example. And so it's vital. And my interest is to work in the mental health area as a counselor. And my background is one of zero empathy. I'm having to learn emotional vocabulary and all this kind of stuff. So I've got a big task ahead of me, and I don't have much confidence. So the facilitator training is a vital mechanism for me. So that's basically where I'm at. Thank you.
Right. Thanks for coming, Grant. Okay. Cynthia. You're muted, Cynthia.
You're muted.
There we go. We still can't hear you. Or is that me?
No, we can't hear her.
Yeah, I don't hear it. It might be the microphone. If you
Okay.
need you can set different microphones or in the settings.
Yeah, in the Zoom settings, just click your mic, and that should allow you. There's a drop-up menu. You click it, you can select some things, or it might open it up for you.
Yeah, little arrow next to the mute microphone. If you click that, you'll see a bunch of different microphones that you can use.
Okay. So my screen is freezing. I think I have on unstable. Can people hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Cynthia, I think what we're going to do is give you some time to work on your sound issue there. And then we're going to go. So Elsa. And we'll come back to you. Cynthia. Yeah. Elsa.
Hi. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Elsa from Mumbai, India. I run a nonprofit that works on sexual and gender-based violence, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here, because I think empathy is so important in the work that I do, and I'm constantly looking to improve my own empathic listening skills. Also, it's a way to heal your own self, since I'm a survivor myself. So I'm looking forward to the training.
Great, Elsa. Glad to have you here. Cynthia, what how you doing? Looks like you did something. No, still.
Yeah, for a brief
Okay.
moment when the mic was handed from your partner, friend, or person to you, It clicks
Okay.
in. Yes, yes.
Something
Yeah.
happened.
And now do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you
Loud and
now.
clear.
Ah,
Very
great. Yeah. Thanks to my son. So,
well.
okay. Sorry. Yes. So I'm in Bern in Switzerland, and
Mm.
I'm here via Extinction Rebellion. I never heard of this before, and I want to join because it's a way to talk to people. I'm in physics, and it's often a lot of emotions when people are in denial with climatic change and things like this.
Mhm.
So I think with empathy and a better way to listen to the people and to have empathy with what they say, I will be able to get in touch with them.
Great. Well, welcome. And we've done a lot of work with the people in XR. And I can see Michelle will tell us more. She's another XR person. I'm not shy about it. Welcome,
Okay.
Michelle.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for putting this on. This is super awesome. My name is Michelle. I am in Eugene, Oregon. I'm a Canadian by birth and upbringing, but dragged down here with my husband. I just want to say that I have done a couple of these empathy circles, probably a number of them, and I just cannot stress enough how valuable this is to learn. And so I'm really excited about learning how to kind of get some comfort with being on the other side and what that's all involved. So I'm really looking forward to this. So I guess why I'm here is I'm involved with Extinction Rebellion, and I just think that, this is that third piece that is super important to kind of hold things together for everyone, because there is so much, like Cynthia was saying, emotion around the whole grief process around climate crises and the ecological emergency. So thank you.
Great. Welcome. Katrina.
Well, hi, I've done 2 trainings, I believe, and I just try to dip in every now and then when I can to keep my hand in and to support Edwin and Bill and keep this thing on the road, because I think it's really, really important. So good to be here.
Thank you, Katrina. Thanks for your support. Christina.
Hi, I'm sorry I came in late. And I'm not quite sure, we're just introducing ourselves, I guess.
Right, and why you want to be, or what your interest is about being an Empathy Circle Facilitator.
Okay, yeah. Okay, my name is Christina Tonin, and I am from outside of Houston, Texas. And let's see, why do I want to be an empathy facilitator? I actually do a practice called circling, and I facilitate that practice. I've done it for 6 years now. And when the COVID and the lockdown started, we went online, but I just, and it's a great practice online, but I think it's too much right now. And I want my group to keep connected and doing something. And I tried an empathy circle a couple of weeks ago, and it felt really good, and it felt light. It felt connective, and I really like it. I actually really loved it. And I think it's something that is like a gateway drug for people to go deeper into this NVC and self-awareness work. So, and I need a gateway drug, because circling's like jumping in the deep end. And especially right now, where it feels like trauma's kind of up. I think that this feels a little lighter, but it's beautiful and important. And it's such a skill that circlers even need more listening. So that's why I'm here, and I'm excited, and I hope I can get in one of the trainings.
Great. Well, you're holding them periodically, so I'm sure we'll be able to do that. Edwin, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, I love that term, gateway drug, because I use that term as well. It's oxytocin. When you get heard, you get sort of an oxytocin hit. It's non-addictive and it's very healthy. It reduces stress. So I love that that term. So we have Graham and Katrina who have taken the training. Do you want to say take a 30 seconds or so? Just how's the training been for you? Maybe Graham, do you want to say anything about that? It's sort of a testimonial from someone that's actually taking the training.
Thank you for asking. I think I've done 2 training sessions so far, and maybe also facilitated one of these little groups in here. So roughly 3 spots. And the process is actually that we go through here are very simple, or at least the rules of our engagement are very simple. And those are the things that the facilitator needs to look after. And once any empathy breakout room is established, oh, are you actually wanting to know how I respond to being a facilitator?
No, how was your experience in the training? Because we're sort of preparing people to introduce them to the training. Okay. Like, how did you find the training? Is it stressful? Is it challenging? Is it enjoyable? Connecting?
This is basically what I'm getting at is how I responded. And so, as a facilitator, there are quite a lot of things you need to look out for, but the environment is supportive. Once you start the empathy process, people connect with you. You can make all sorts of mistakes. And like I say, it's a simple process that we have to supervise. And it becomes complicated because one is you're trying to look at the time, one is you're trying to listen, and you're trying to empathize. So you can get lost in your thoughts and lose perspective, but everything's good, everything's safe. And the experience is actually really quite reassuring and a pleasant experience. So have I described things?
Yeah, I just wanted to hear what your experience was, if people can hear someone who's gone through it. Katrina, do you want to say anything about your experience?
Yeah, I kind of most of what Graham said. It can be stressful. I think you can get sort of like beginner's anxiety and get very sort of caught up in whether you're doing it right. But from my experience, Edwin and Bill and Lou were always just so helpful and responsive, and they seem to have really worked on the system, and it's kind of like very difficult to fail. They've made it so that it's very user-friendly and very compassionate, and it's a really safe space. And I'm not a person who learns things very quickly, but I managed fine, and yeah, and I come back for more. So yeah.
Okay, great. Well, great, thanks. So with the training, you can take it once. It's a 5-week training, 2.5 hours per session. We meet once a week and we form a cohort. And right now we're forming cohort 9. And you can take the training multiple times, and we encourage you to take it multiple times. You take it once, get familiar with it. And then we would like to actually to train you to become a trainer. So you can take it a second, a third, a fourth time. And each time you take it again, you start presenting different pieces of it to the point where at the end, we really would like you to be able to train others. If we want to spread this practice, it would, we just really want to get sort of scale up and make you comfortable with training others. So what I'm going to do is just review. I'm going to do a screen share here of the website. Let me put, before I do that, this is the course website. I just put it into the chat. It's just a Google web right now. We don't have a dedicated URL for it. I did get the name empathycourse.com, so I'll be setting that up shortly, but for now that's a short link to it. You don't need, I'm going to share the screen, so you don't need to go there, but that's just the page that we're showing. Let me bring it up. Okay, so that URL is sort of the landing page, bit.ly eCourse. That's just a little shorter link for the course. So this is really the website that you want to bookmark. This is from our previous cohort, number 6. We're up to 9 and 11 now. 9, we're working to fill number 9. So it's introduction site here. You can go to empathycircle.com for more about empathy circles. And there's no cost to take part. You know, we're donating our time, but you can also donate to the training, because we're trying to make it as simple and as accessible as possible. And because we're really everybody's just really wanting to create a more empathic culture in society. And so we're all donating our time and efforts. If you kind of scroll down the page, you'll go to this start page, which is if you're on Facebook, you know, you can click through. It'll take you to this. Okay. We take you to this page. This is all the intro circles, you know, we're doing like now, January 22nd. Next Friday, there'll be another one. And then, so every Friday we're holding these circles. You can go here. I post the video. This video will be posted there. There'll be other sort of resources, you know, that we kind of post ongoing. So it's good to kind of follow this page, even if you're not on Facebook. I think you can still bookmark it and you know, see the posts to the page, sort of updates and stuff. There's this little video here is of Lou. He's one of the trainers. This is us at UC Berkeley. There was a group of students. We were doing Empathy Circle training with them. It was part of our effort before COVID. We have this empathy tent that we take out to public places, and that's it on the Sproul Plaza, which is the main plaza of UC Berkeley. And we were, you know, we set up there, we offer listening to people that come by. And I think somebody mentioned that they were working to be a therapist or counselor, that this is a really good skill, the empathy circle skill, to become better at counseling, because you're just practicing that active listening or empathic listening. So it's a great skill for that. So we do this on the street. People come by, we say, hey, we're here. We have a little card. Maybe I'll show it after I do the share screen. But on the card, it says free empathy, you know, get 10 minutes of free listening. And we hand that out and people come and sit. And then we also, if we get a group of people, we do empathy, you know, we'll form an empathy circle. And you can, you know, scroll down the page there and there's all kinds of posts. Hopefully you were able to see the 25-minute how-to empathy circle. We have, and there's an article that was just written by someone that took the training. For example, we just posted that, a really nice article. She said she was a skeptic, kind of was converted, really appreciated the training. So that was nice. We have recordings of all the sessions. So this is, you know, cohort 10. It's one of our biggest cohort. We have up to about 22 people per cohort now, and it's a ratio of 1 trainer or trainee to 3 participants. So we do breakout rooms and you get a lot of support. So anyway, there's, you know, links there that you can check out. This is the sign up page. So the cohort, actually I should take that out because cohort 8 is full. It's already started. The next cohort is cohort 9. So we're signing people up for that. I think someone here, Elsa, was signed up for that. And one of the requirements is that you've taken part in 2 empathy circles beforehand, just so you have some familiarity. And what we're doing today counts as one of those 2 as a prerequisite. And if you click through there, you'll see the sign up page. And you know, it has just the steps. There's an application, course syllabus, which was where we were at, the dates. We have our trainers or trainees, and then sort of we're signing people up here. And then there's Anatoly too is. Anatoly, what happened? Was he here? He dropped out or something. And then so we have sort of a wait list until you make your 2 empathy circles, then you'll be added to the confirmed list here. So then if you just scroll down the page, you'll see there'll be an application that you fill out. It's a Google form to Empathy Circle Prerequisites. You can click on this link. It'll send you to other circles that are being held. Most of them are for XR. We have Carolina, she holds a lot of empathy circles for XR. You're welcome to join those. And then sometimes we have other ones that we host. We actually need to be hosting more public ones. Then greetings from cohort 5. And then each of the sessions, you know, we're really trying to have the syllabus here, what to expect, and then the full course, you know, session by session, what we do in each session. So there's a lot of prep, and then you scroll down. These are sort of sections, some of the things we cover in the cohorts, like we talk about a culture of empathy, and then there's some values there, the how-to. We have a section on facilitator support. We really try to connect you with other facilitators. So in terms of the requirements, time requirements, you have the 2.5 hours per week. We try to get you together with another, between each session, to get you together with another participant and have an empathy buddy call. So you have a half an hour where you have a 15-minute where you get to speak about your, you know, what's alive for you. You get an empathic reflection, then you take turns. So we're really trying to get the trainees together to and train and the participants to really build connections and mutual support. There's a list of challenges that you'll have as a facilitator. So there's all kinds of different, you know, sections if you can click through there. And then there's all kinds of reference links. There's our events calendar. You go to empathycircle.com, gateway for empathy circle practice, cultureofempathy.com website, and the empathy tent. It's all about our, you know, being out in public with the tent, but due to COVID, we're not doing that so much. There's even a link, there's an academic link to, you know, hundreds of articles about empathy through the academic studies, Empathy Circle magazine. So for about the past 8 years, I've been tracking all the articles into the Scoop It magazine on empathy. So you can go through there and it's sorted by topic. And then if we, you know, scroll back up, you'll see on the side here is all the different, you know, click through, and there's the train the trainer component too. So that's what, you know, we would like you to support you if you're, you know, wanting to continue to get to the point where you can become a trainer of the process and actually train others to facilitate circles and to become trainers of others, so we can really spread the practice. And I hope we can do more in XR too, to really spread empathy circles in XR. We've done quite a bit already. XR being Extinction Rebellion, for anyone not familiar with that, sort of an environmental group that we've worked extensively with. So that's sort of an overview of the training. Maybe mention our vision is to build a culture of empathy. It's to put empathy as a central cultural value. And by empathy, we mean just being able to listen, be sensitive to the felt experience of others, and for it to be mutual, you know, so we're having mutual a culture where we listen to each other. And the empathy circle is really sort of a structure that sort of models that culture in a sort of a simple way. I mean, in the intro videos that you see, there's some already a list of a lot of the benefits. There's huge benefits. I won't go into that of empathy, of, you know, empathy circles. And I think there's a lot of benefits to this training. We keep refining it and improving it. The time commitment, I was going to say, there's, yeah, it's 30, you'll have 2.5 hours a week for that, 30 minutes for your empathy buddy call, and 1 to 2 hours, an optional empathy circle. Try to host an empathy circle with family or friends between sessions, and then you come back and report on that, but that's more optional. And I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to cover. Anything else, Bill, that you think we should?
No, it sounds good.
Okay, great. So maybe just open it for Q&A. Any questions about the training? Pretty clear.
Can I just ask a question? So the session, there are 5 sessions. Are they if you miss a session, is it necessary to go back and do the same session, or would you be able to?
Yeah, if you go through the application, we ask if you can make each of the sessions, and we ask that, you know, before you take part, that you sort of commit to taking part in all the sessions. You know, stuff comes up where, you know, there's like emergencies, and we understand that, and, you know, it's okay if you miss one. But when going into it, really ask that you sort of commit to taking part. So in each of the sessions, yeah. And even if you miss one, you know, you can just, it's not critical. That it's like, you know, it's not like you have to have had that session. So you can pick up or in the next one. Okay, anything? Oh, we have 2 new people. Catherine, would you like to just do a quick intro, name, where you're from?
Yeah, my name is Catherine Stewart. I live in Portland, Oregon, and I just, I've seen things on Facebook about your empathy trainings, and last night just saw this about the circle, so I thought I would hop in.
Okay,
so thanks.
Great. Oh, we just, yeah, and Tito? You're muted.
Hello, my name is Tito. Live at Venice.
Where are you calling from?
Venice.
Okay, well, welcome.
Venice.
Finishu, is that? Okay, then welcome. So next we want to share how to do the empathy circle. So let me show the how to, and then we'll actually go into some circles. So let me.
I wonder if I may interrupt just for a moment, if Tito could type in the word that he was trying to say, because I didn't understand it.
Oh, do you want to do that, Tito? Type it into the chat, your location. And, oh, Venice. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for suggesting that. So here we go. Gonna bring up this, share the how-to. So some of you may have seen this already, but it'll be a 6-minute video on how to, and then we'll go actually take part in a circle. I'm Edwin Rutch, founding director of the Center for Building a Culture of Empathy. I'd like to welcome you to this short presentation on how to take part in a basic empathy circle. So next, let's look at the step-by-step how to take part. An empathy circle starts with 2 to 7 participants. Here on the screen, we have 4 participants, which I find is an ideal number. There are 4 basic roles, and the roles rotate among the participants as the empathy circle unfolds. 1, the speaker, is the first person to speak. 2 is active listener who actively listens to the speaker. There's the silent listeners, they quietly observe and witness. And the facilitator who organizes, schedules, and hosts the circle. They also do the timekeeping, and they have some experience with the process and help keep participants in the process. However, everyone has the responsibility to hold the process and the practice. So to begin with, the facilitator will start the empathy circle. They welcome the participants. They lead introductions if the participants don't know each other. The facilitator invites participants to give short introductions, for example, their name, where they're from, and something personal about themselves. The facilitator then reviews the empathy circle process to remind everyone how it works. They announce the discussion topic, if there is one. Even if there is a topic, you can always talk about what is alive for you. That is what is on your mind in the moment. And 5, they set the speaker time limits, perhaps 5 minutes, for example. And the facilitator then asks who would like to start to be the first speaker. So at that point, the participant volunteers to be the first speaker. As speaker, you select who will be your active listener, and you can select anyone that you want. You speak about the topic given or whatever is alive for you. And so you'll speak a bit until you have maybe expressed an idea or two, and then you want to pause to give the active listener a chance to recap what they understand that you are saying and feeling. If you say too much, the listener may have difficulty in reflecting it. As the active listener, you are listening to the speaker to get an understanding of what they're saying and what is important to them. You are giving them your full attention as a supportive companion on their inner journey and exploration. When the speaker pauses, you recap your understanding of what they said and how they feel by reflecting the essence of that in your own words. You can summarize, paraphrase, or even say the speaker's words back to them. Even though you may have a strong impulse to respond with your own ideas, judgments, analysis, advice, and sympathy, or even questions, resist the impulse to do so because these common responses block the speaker from moving along their internal journey. You'll be able to say whatever you want when it is your turn to be the speaker. If you don't reflect the understanding to the speaker's satisfaction, they can always say it again. Then as speaker, you check, do you feel understood to your satisfaction? If you do not feel understood, you can say it again, perhaps in different words. If you do feel understood, continue sharing. Again, after speaking a bit, pause to give your active listener a chance to recap their understanding of what you said. As the active listener, you again share your understanding of what the speaker said and meant. The cycle of speaking and reflecting continues until you, as the speaker, do not have anything else you'd like to say, or until you get a signal from the timekeeper. If you get a signal from the timekeeper, then finish up what you're saying in a sentence or two. After you get a final reflection, you can end your turn by saying something like, I feel fully heard, or something like that to indicate you are done with your speaking turn. At that point, the roles then rotate. The active listener becomes the speaker. The person they select becomes the new active listener. For everyone having equal time, it is good to select someone that hasn't spoken lately, but it is your choice. The others in the circle become the silent listeners. This process of taking turns in speaking and active listening continues for whatever time is allotted for the empathy circle. And this was just a very short introduction. The best way to learn the practice is taking part and doing it. There is more in-depth material on taking part in an empathy circle and facilitating one at empathycircle.com. Thank you for listening. Okay, so I've created two rooms. We're kind of at the point where it's we'd have 3 in 1. So maybe I have a two larger groups. Bill, would you facilitate one, and I'll do the other one, and we'll stay here. So we're going to do the empathy circle now. We have about an hour, no, about 40. How long do we have? An hour? Yeah, about an hour actually. So we'll do that. We'll have shorter turns in the topic. I'm going to put that into the chat room. Is any questions you have about the empathy circle? Why do you want to take the training? Any questions you have about the empathy circle and the training, or anything that's alive for you that you'd like to talk about? So we have 1 hour, then we'll come back into the full group. So okay, here I'm going to open the rooms. Bill, you're facilitating the one.
Got it.
So. Okay, so we're staying in this room here. So we're going to have 4-minute turns, and I'm going to keep track of the time. So whoever would like to be the first speaker, perhaps you can speak to me and I can sort of model the listening. Usually we like to have about 4 in a group, but we're sort of at the point where we'd only have one group with 3. So we're having a little bit larger circle here. So who would like to start? And you have 4 minutes, and I'll be the first listener.
I'm okay to start. I'll start.
Okay, I'm listening.
So the reasons why I'd like to take a course in empathic listening are that I have undertaken some counselling skills training, very, person-centered, very much person-centered skills training. It's some time since I actually have done that course, and I would like to be able to improve my skills and practice. Yeah, just practice really. I'd like an opportunity to practice.
Okay, let me reflect back what I'm hearing then. So I'm hearing that you're wanting to do some training. Well, you're wanting to do counseling or therapy, and that you're along the lines of the person-centered approach, and you just want to get some practice in. That's what I was hearing.
Yeah, I'd like to get some practice in for that reason, so that perhaps when I'm in a better position to be able to complete counselling training, then I won't have kind of lost my thread, lost my way. I'm also an active rebel in Extinction Rebellion, and I've taken a role in de-escalation within the movement, and I do actually deliver de-escalation skills training. So I think having doing an empathic listening course will enhance my ability to deliver that training.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you're part of Extinction Rebellion. Within Extinction Rebellion, you've been working on de-escalation, and you think that this training will also kind of support you in doing that de-escalation work with Extinction Rebellion.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm also a mental health first aid trainer, so I train people in mental health first aid skills. So it's rather like physical first aid, but for people's mental health, for young people, this is. And I'm about to start rolling that out in the local community. And I think alongside that, it would be nice. Nice?
Mm-hmm.
It would be good to also offer people some opportunities to share with each other as people gain the skills, take part in the upskilling with understanding how to help young people in mental health crisis, if they also were able to have an opportunity to take part in some empathic listening circles as well. So that's another aspect.
Yeah, so you got a bunch. You have 3 different main areas, and the last one being that you're sort of a mental health first aid in your community, doing first aid work. And you think that with young people, if you could have them do empathy circles with each other, that would sort of be helpful. And that was the time, that was the 4 minutes too. So do you feel heard? Or?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, oh, great. So I'll speak to Michelle.
I am ready to be your listener.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really glad that a couple of Extinction Rebellion people are here, because I think we could do more with kind of spreading the practice through Extinction Rebellion. So really excited that, you know, both you and Linda are here.
I can reflect on that. You're really glad to see the XR folks here and just overall attendance.
Yeah, and
that you're looking forward to spreading the empathy circle around to that.
Yeah, I know Roger Hallam, he's one of the co-founders of XR. He's having kind of conflicts, and I've talked to him about holding empathy circles around his conflicts, and he's open for it. So yeah, I was kind of trying to move that along too.
And it sounds like you're really keen to kind of get the empathy circles more a part of XR than what it is, and you've been reaching out to Roger to that effect.
Yeah, and also the training. I think we're really getting into training really refined, so it's easy to start spreading it. So it seems to me that it would be, if like XR America or XR in general were to sort of take on the empathy circle as a core practice, you know, we're really getting the tools together, and I think it would really help with, you know, dealing with conflict and everything that's going on with XR.
So it sounds like having some people in who are taking the course will really help to refine it, which in effect, you know, will help bring more people in, because we're doing it sort of as a, yeah, just more doing it, more receiving it, spread.
Yeah, I would say it's already getting quite refined. You know, we keep iterating on it. So it's like a program now that's easy. I think it could be easy to spread in XR if we kind of had the promotional, you know, stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking it's well refined, and that it's a matter of really just promoting it in XR and other, I'm sure other places as well as XR, but yes.
Yeah, the whole world, but especially XR, because we've done so much, and plus you're here. So, as a founder, she is a founder, co-founder of XR America, so people might not know that.
So you were just saying that, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm
not
just
the Michelle founder thing, but the stuff before that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what I said either. I feel fully heard. Yeah, I feel fully heard. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Edwin. So do I now pick someone to listen to me? I
no,
guess
you
that's...
select who you'd like to, ideally
okay.
someone who hasn't spoken yet.
Okay, sure. I'll go with, gosh, I don't know. It's always so hard to pick, you know, but Cynthia. Well, see if you would mind being my listener.
Yes. If you hear me, I'm ready to listen to you.
I hear you. Yes. Why am I here? I guess I don't really know how to answer that. It just kind of pulled me to be here because I've attended some other ones in the past. I'm returning from a 4-month hiatus. I was up in Canada with family for almost 4 months, and I got back early November, just in time for the election. So I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things, not quite as avidly as I had been before because I was just massively overwhelmed. I was just 7 days a week, 10, 12-hour days, just insanity. So I'm kind of trying to come in a little slow, and this is one of the spots I thought I'd try because it just really seems like such a powerful tool to have as part of the culture that we are trying to build.
Okay. So what I heard is that you were for months, did I understand well, in voyage, in travel, sorry, with your family. And it was quite overwhelming because you were fully there every day and you just came back in November. And yeah, now you try to take it smooth and you think this is a good opportunity to take contact with the culture to extend in XR. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. You captured that quite well. The one part I just want to put some clarification into is that while being up in Canada with my family was definitely very consuming, it was actually a reprieve from the work that I was doing with Extinction Rebellion before I had left.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I just want to be here and learn this and see if I can carry it forward. I'm actually part of the vitality, what we're calling, instead of regenerative, because that can be kind of a little bit weird for some people. We're calling it a vitality circle, movement vitality. So because of that, I thought this would be just a great thing to kind of do and then bring into the circle and say, hey guys, I think we should be, bringing this in just as a proposal, and I'm sure it will be well received. But yeah, so I guess that's kind of why I'm here.
Okay, so I hear that on top of that, you were with your family full time, but you were also reprieved from your investment in XR. And now you're back and you're in the vitality circle. And in this group, it will be welcome for you to introduce this this tool, which is empathy listening.
Thank
Did
you.
I get it well? So, sorry, my English is good, but not perfect. So sometimes I just, yeah. Did I get it well?
You did. I feel fully heard. Thank you, Cynthia. You did very good. Yes. So Cynthia, I will pass on to you to speak and collect your listener.
Yes. So I just have to see because everything is little. So yeah, I see Elsa didn't speak. So if you agree to be my listener.
Yes, I agree to be your listener.
Thanks. So yeah, why am I taking this formation? It's in my head, it was for two main reasons. The first is to be able to listen to people better and then to exchange about things around physics and climatic change and all these society things that are happening. And the second is that I'm a teacher and with young adults, and I think it will be a great tool to be able to understand their feelings and maybe to learn to them how to be more empathic between them.
So what I heard is that you want to take this training for two reasons. You are a teacher and you want to be able to teach your students empathic listening skills, and also be a better teacher by being able to listen to them. And the first reason was that you want to be able to listen better because you're passionate about climate change and physics, and since there are a lot of skeptics around, you want to listen to them, but also be able to put forward your point of view. Did I get that right?
Absolutely amazing. You said it better than I. Yeah, great. And so, yeah, I didn't know about this formation, and now I just want to give a try. And yeah, I feel really curious to see what's coming with this.
So you heard about this training and you were curious, and you're here to learn more about this.
Yes, exactly. I feel fully heard. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Great. So I'm going to pick Catherine. And I'm here because I run a nonprofit that works on prevention of sexual and gender-based violence. So we constantly hear stories from survivors, and I feel improving empathic listening skills is very critical in my line of work.
Oh, that's excellent. So I hear that you work for a organization that works with people who've experienced gender-based abuse. Is that correct? So you're hoping to bring some of this empathy training into that realm to use with the survivors. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Further, we do have something that we developed ourselves for survivors called Safe Circle, which is a listening space. And I think we can improve upon it by bringing in these new skills.
Interesting. So I hear you saying you have a something similar to the Empathy Circle already called a Safe Circle, and that the training that you might get through the empathy training would maybe improve those circles.
Yes, thank you. I feel fully heard.
Excellent. So let's see. Linda, I'll pick you for my active listener.
Hi, Catherine. Yes, thank you. I'm ready to listen.
Let's see. So let's see. My children went to a school that was a K-8 school, and we had a lot of focus in the classroom on empathy and not non-bullying trainings and things like that. So I'm hoping my youngest son is actually going to be starting there at the school. Well, whenever they go back to school, but even virtually, if we could do some of these empathy circles, I think taking it from the larger, classroom into smaller groups, if we could possibly find some time to do that, that would be great. So I'm hoping to bring this into my kids' school.
Okay, so you say that your children have gone to, I'm sorry, I didn't catch what the sort of school is, but a certain type of school.
Yeah.
Where empathy and non-bullying is part of the ethos of the school, and your youngest child is about to start at that school, and you're keen to have some input or facilitation of some sessions when when the children go back, either in person or perhaps do something virtually if that can be achieved.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, and I feel heard. So yeah, thank you.
I'm not sure where we're at now in terms of...
You were the listener, so now you become the speaker and you choose someone, and you can choose whoever you'd like. And you just continue, you can just talk about whatever's alive for you.
Okay, I've already spoken, but we just carry on, yes? Yeah, okay.
We keep going for another 45 minutes, and yeah.
So could I choose Elsa as my listener? Thank you.
Sure, I'm happy to listen.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really appreciating everybody's reasons for being here and the variety of places that everybody's coming from, both physically and just what people are wanting to get out of practicing some empathic listening. I already feel quite excited about the prospect of practicing this. Yeah.
So what I heard is that you're appreciative of the diversity in the room, the variety of people, where they are coming from and the reasons for being here. And you believe that it's a great space for you to learn from them and improve your own skills.
Yes. Thank you. I don't think I've got anything else to say at the moment. Thanks, Elsa. I felt you heard what I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll pick Michelle. So, well, I read that article by Zainab on LinkedIn, and that's how I got to hear about the Empathy Circle. And it caught my attention because this past week, I myself have been feeling a bit restless, and I couldn't pinpoint as to what was the reason why. And one of the things that I want to get out of this training is also create the stillness and the space to understand myself before I even offer any kind of help to other people.
Okay. So, Elsa, I heard that you heard about this through a LinkedIn article, and I'm sorry, I didn't hear whose LinkedIn article that was.
Zainab.
Zainab?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to look into that one. And that you've been feeling kind of restless lately, and you're like, why? And so you're kind of coming with a desire to get that restlessness sort of sorted out, find a peace or a stillness or whatever. And then once that happens, you feel you'd be stronger to be able to carry this forward to others.
Yes, that's right. And I also feel that one must heal oneself first before one offers to heal other people. And so when we talk about empathy, it's also being kind to ourselves and taking that time to be kind. So, no, I mean, every training is going to be important.
Thanks. So I heard you just kind of elaborate that healing begins with self first. And you think that empathy in and of itself is being kind to yourself.
Yes. Thank you. I feel fully heard.
Okay, I will go with, oh, did we lose someone?
We did. Somebody just dropped off. Maybe they had a internet problem. We'll keep an eye out if they come back.
Okay, yeah. So I'll take Edwin as my
Okay,
active
listening.
listener. Okay. Gosh, we got like half an hour more or so, huh? What is alive for me now is I'm not really sure that there's anything alive. Well, I will say that what Elsa was saying was really connecting for me a lot. And that was sort of when I came back from being up in Canada for a while, what I was trying to do.
Yeah,
I
so you're
guess
just trying to see what's alive for you, and what Elsa was saying, something about what she said is really alive for you.
Yeah, about looking after the self first.
So this aspect of looking out for yourself first is sort of resonates with you.
Yes. You know, it's I'm really glad I'm here, and I'm looking forward to this. I don't really know that I have where I'm at with anything further to say, but what is alive for me right now, I think I feel a little restless as well. It's surrounding the climate crises and the ecological emergency. That's really what's been shaping my days and hours and minutes for me.
Yeah, so it's really the climate issues. It's really sort of alive for you, and where your thoughts and energy is around. So it sounds like some real concern around that.
Yes, some grief. I'm kind of all over the place on the grief wheel, from relief to anger, to denial. You know, it's all there at some point.
So it's more than concern. It's like grief and denial, and just a whole spectrum of different feelings are coming up around it. So the grief wheel related.
Yeah. And so, I guess that too is why I thought, well, got to go somewhere. Like, even just talking about it, my body, my stomach quivered and my chest kind of went whoosh, and I got tingly all over my body. Like it impacts me physically, just thinking about it. So sorry, I'm going deep here. Thank you.
Yeah, so you're just noticing that just even talking about it, thinking about it, like it's really impacting your body really deeply, and you can sort of feel the stress and the constriction in your stomach, and some real grief there, and also like an apology. Oh, I'm going deep here, and maybe sort of apologizing, feeling you have to apologize for that.
Yeah, I feel fully heard. Thank you, Edwin.
Okay. Let me just reset. Speak to Katrina.
Catherine.
Oh, Catherine. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Katrine. Yeah, let me start. Yeah, it's very rich, the sort of the backgrounds, where everyone's coming from. Really appreciating sort of the richness of everyone's background, just wanted to say to Michelle, whatever is alive for you is welcome in the empathy circle. It's like wherever you are, there's no political correctness. There's no like whatever, all feelings are welcome. So I just want to share that.
So I hear you saying that you're appreciating the richness in the group right now, and giving permission to Michelle and everybody that whatever feelings are happening is totally okay and part of what's kind of even meant to happen in the empathy circle, so that it's appreciated.
Yeah, and I wanted to sort of address Elsa's comment about, taking care of yourself. I think in the empathy circle, we're taking care of each other in a sense. It's like it's a space to share those feelings, and when they get heard and reflected, there's something healing about that. It's the resonance, like, oh, I'm not so alone in this anxiety or fear or stress or grief. That if we're sharing those and it gets heard, it just creates a sense of connection and a way of healing maybe.
So, and addressing Elsa's comment about self-healing, that the nature of the empathy circle helps to make people feel not so alone and create that sense of connection, which in and of itself can be healing. So there's that sort of reciprocal back and forth healing happening, just inherent in the empathy.
And it's a little different than like Linda's talking about being a counselor or therapist. Is in a therapist, you have this client therapy relationship, right? It's like, oh, you've got a problem, you come and you get heard, and that's healing. But what we're trying to do is take it into just human connection, that we're all just human beings. There's no therapist here. The facilitator is almost like minimal, or, doesn't even have to do anything, just hold the process. So it's really creating a container where we can sort of have that listening, that healing listening quality for each other.
Yeah. So I hear you saying the empathy circle is really about creating that human connection, and not as much the role of the counselor to the client, where there's just those two people. You've got a group of people that are exchanging different energies and allowing that to be sort of organic in its way of connecting people.
Yeah, it's that connection that is healing, I think that, so it's kind of releases oxytocin, which kind of counteracts stress, cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So I think there's a lot of underlying, physiological dynamics to it.
Yeah, I hear you saying oxytocin is released. That's a that's a big one. That helps. That helps with really reducing cortisol, the stress hormone. And so the more connection we can have, the more oxytocin, the less stress.
Yeah, exactly. And the last part was just in terms of what Elsa was saying about domestic violence. I think bringing empathy circles into the family is really a whole area too. It's not just for people who are sort of affected, through the violence, but hey, let's have a family empathy circle where all the parties have learn the skills to sort of talk out and have a constructive way of dialoguing about the issues. So, I've done it in my family too.
I hear you saying, to Elsa's point, with working with survivors, that can also be a very effective tool for families, and just working with people who, enhancing their ability to communicate and listen, that the family unit can be a really good place to start.
Yep, I feel fully heard. Thanks.
Great. Okay, so let's see. So let's see, Elsa, or no? Yeah. Will you be my listener?
Oh, I can be a listener.
So let's see. a few things from what Edwin was just saying spoke to me about the family in particular. I was speaking before about wanting to try to bring some empathy circles into the school setting, but I also feel like I fully agree that just intentionally sitting down with your family members and doing this could be a really challenging experience for everybody, but also so valuable to actually practice, you know, knowing that you're understanding what someone is saying. So I don't think that happens all the time in families.
So what I heard you say is that in addition to you introducing this tool in the school setting, you now also think of introducing it in your own family, because not often everyone is heard. And whilst it can be challenging, it can also be very enriching and rewarding because everybody gets a chance to be heard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that is what else was there? Was something else that I can't remember now. Oh yeah, the oxytocin. I also, I'm a birth doula, so I love oxytocin. Makes my job a lot easier. So I'm all about anything that can create more oxytocin, and definitely I think people connecting and you know, listening and being heard is just, I don't think that it happens very much on a regular basis. And like, even in the, like, going back to the family, because there's so much familiarity, I think we know what everybody is saying or what they're meaning, but I think we'd find out that we actually have it wrong a lot of the time. So so yeah, I feel like that could really, the reducing stress of any sort in any way, is so valuable.
So you like the fact that this tool increases oxytocin, reduces stress, and you know how important that is because you're also a doula. And you feel that in families, we tend to take each other for granted, don't listen to each other. We think we have heard it and we understand what somebody is saying, but in reality, that's not the case. And introducing this empathy circle within a family will provide an opportunity and a space for people to speak up and be heard and connect. Did I hear you right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I feel heard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna pick Linda. I'm really enjoying this conversation. It's almost 1 a.m. in the morning, but I think it was worth it staying up for this this training because I do want to make it to the 9th cohort.
So, Elsa, you really enjoying being in this conversation, despite the fact that it's the small hours of the morning where you are. Didn't realise that. You think it was worth waiting up for, and you really want to get on to the next training cohort.
What Catherine said resonated with me because we do take for granted the people we love the most. And the conflict, when we talk about conflict and conflict resolution, we think about it in, mega terms like wars and, between countries and stuff like that. But really, if we could go back to the very basic level that is the family unit and create peace over there, I think the world would be a much better place.
So you thinking about conflict resolution and how it's often seen as a sort of macro international kind of concept, but perhaps it could be utilised a bit more at the family level, and that might improve the world from the micro to the macro.
And it's very important to do it at that level, because when people are happy, they are well adjusted, and they then transfer it to their workspaces, to their other communities that they are part of. But when they're not happy at that level, that's when they express rage and frustration and take it out in many different ways, including sexual and gender-based violence that I work on.
So I'm hearing that you feel that some of the work that you do is perhaps grows out of conflicts that are happening in the family environment, and perhaps that's to resolve issues in the family environment might actually reduce that sort of you know, the gender-based violence that you work with.
Yes, and not only maybe it's not only that the, you know, an unhappy family is the cause, but also a happy family could be a haven and a safe space for somebody who's experiencing any kind of abuse or harassment or bullying, like Catherine mentioned, if a child is being bullied in school, you know, you come back to the family, and that is your source of strength, right? And comfort and healing.
Okay, so you're thinking that if families are more or safer spaces and more nurturing spaces, then that would be a good thing, basically.
Thank you. I feel heard.
Okay, so I'm wondering if I can share some stuff with Michelle.
Yes, I'd be happy to be your listener.
Thanks, Michelle. I really related to what you were sharing before about your feelings about climate change and the very deep sense of sadness. And that's definitely something that I've been going through recently in a more sort of comprehensive way, I think, because I think the pandemic has brought it to light that this is possibly just the beginning of a series of things that are going to go on in the world, which are going to impact very heavily on human beings. And my perception is that it will impact particularly heavily on young people. And I've got 2 young people in my household who are my children, and I work with young people in a youth charity, and it brings me a deep sense of sadness to think about what's coming, basically.
Thank you, Linda. I think I've heard you say that you were relating to what I was saying about the emotions around the climate crisis and ecological emergency. Sadness seems to be one that's hitting you pretty significantly and recently, and that the pandemic has sort of brought sort of almost a reality of what we're in for, but maybe just the tip of the iceberg. And that you work with youth and understand that what is coming is going to impact them in a very I don't know, traumatic and powerful way that really brings that sadness to a head for you, and that you have 2 young ones yourself.
Yeah. And I try not to get stuck there, because it does nobody any favours to get stuck in that place. So I do try and look at the positives and the hope and the good things that are happening and the good things that are coming out of both the pandemic and just out of, you know, changes that are occurring. So I am an optimist, and I try and remain an optimist. But there have been times, I must admit, over the last few months where I've struggled to get out from under the duvet and get on with the day. I have to say.
So I'm hearing you say that, you know, even though that is happening, you try not to get stuck in that or sink into the depths of that too much. You try and hold on to some of the positive and the hope and the good things that are kind of coming around, whether that's through changes or other things. Just trying to be an optimist, but that you were finding it a struggle to find the optimism in yourself sometimes, particularly recently.
Thank you. Thanks, Michelle. That was not really listened to. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'm going to ask Catherine if she would like to be my assessor.
Yes, I would love to.
Okay. I really related to the conversation, I think it was Elsa and Catherine were having regarding the family as a beginning to healing society. And I kind of relate to that because I've been diagnosed with ADD, and I recently am reading this book by Gabor Mate. If anybody does not know Gabor Mate, I would highly recommend checking him out. He's a Canadian psychologist, brain, emotions, addiction, all those things, just amazing. And you know, he says that, and if at any point you need me to stop, Catherine, just, I need to reflect. I tend to ramble. That it ultimately begins in the womb, and that because of the physicality, human babies are born before they're ready to be born. Most animals can stand within a few hours. The you know, mammals, I guess, not all, you know, you've got your other ones, but there's actually a 9-month period after the birth that is very important to a child's growing up. And this is not something that is a conscious thing. And so in developing empathy in a family, and then hopefully bringing that forward into, you know, the feeling of when there's a better culture, as a pregnant woman, you're feeling more positive and you're bringing those oxytocins into that. And so then you've got the next 9 months to care for it. And when you're in a good, healthy space, so then that becomes more natural, and your culture then really becomes not struggling to be that way, but naturally being that way. So I think that what Catherine and Elsie's conversation, I think is really important to kind of get into the family atom or whatever you call that.
So what I hear you saying is that the conversation that Elsa and I were having about family resonated with you, that the beginning of sort of a healthy culture can begin with in the family unit, and that you were recently diagnosed with ADD. Is that what you said? Is that correct?
Fairly recently, but I just continue to read on it, and I recently am reading this new book.
Yes, the new book, and I do not remember the person's name, but so say it again.
Gabor Mate.
Gabor Mate. Okay, sounds like some very interesting work there on psychology and the time that we spend in the womb, and how that is the very beginning of sort of the essence of our ability to be able to be happy and so that if there's that back to the oxytocin during pregnancy, and being able to transfer that to the mom, because you're talking about the 9 months after, where our infants are very helpless compared to other animals, and we need the mother and families to really be present to grow these babies after they are born. That if that is if the mother and family unit are like whole and have the ability to be kind and loving and do all the things to help the child grow, then that would be a good thing. Did I?
Yes. Thank
like
you.
The end point of what you were saying about what the growth, like how what the impact of the mother and the were you speaking about like just in general, like being able to put that out into the world essentially? Yeah,
so that's really important. Like, all of that is important, and it helps to, if you've got a child that has less issues, like if I've been raised in the culture that our culture doesn't allow for good mothering. We struggle just to get 2 weeks after the birth of a child, and they need 9 months, and not just with mom, but with other family members. We've become so atomized. But anyways, I'm digressing a little bit, but yes, so I just think that it's kind of like both. It has to happen on a cultural level and on a family level, but they both gonna, you got to start somewhere. And I think the family, by getting the people to say this is important, and then the culture changes. So anyways, ultimately, I think it's a really good idea for this to be plugged into families.
Yes, I hear you saying that. Yes, absolutely. Getting people healthy from the get-go, so that we can just continue that as a cycle of healthy individuals, starting with the mom and the family unit, and then into the child, and then into their family. And yes. Yeah,
I feel very fully heard. Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah.
Who? It's not me, right? It's you.
That's so Edwin, will you be my listener?
Yep, listening.
yeah, let's see. I guess I feel like I'm gonna kind of repeat myself here, but again, something else that Michelle just said, just that idea. I guess part of why I'm hoping to get more of the empathy piece into the school. I feel like some of the bullying things have been really helpful and impactful, but there hasn't been as much of a focus on empathy. And I guess it's really resonating with me what Michelle was saying. Like I feel like really the only way to make significant changes in the world is to start with the kids. So hopefully more empathy, and also learning that I read an article not too long ago that dove into empathy pretty extensively, and the fact that it does need to be learned and taught is really, I did not even really think of it that way. So that was a new thing for me.
So you're going back to the schools, like that the need for more empathy in the schools. There's been some anti-bullying or trainings there, and you think that the empathy wasn't covered, and you just see that this would be really good maybe to bring into the schools.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. 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 And realizing that like, it's not just a natural way of being, so I'm really curious to learn more about that aspect too with the training, like how, I can see it. I see it in kids when it's lacking, but just sort of the kind of different mechanisms of that. I'm really curious to learn more about that.
Yeah, so you're really curious, what are the mechanisms for teaching empathy or training empathy that you read that it's not, that it sort of needs to be trained or taught, or so you're kind of wanting that, so maybe the nuts and bolts of how that's done. And it sounds like you're a little surprised that just not everybody's just empathic from the get-go. Or
yeah, I feel heard. I don't think got.
Great. So we just have 3 minutes, so we can, maybe just sort of open it up. I'll just mention that in our cohort 10, there's 2 mothers and their sons in it. One is with an older son, and then the other one was with the 14-year-old, and it was the 14-year-old that brought his mother to the training, and it was just so touching in the end debrief that she was in tears just out of her grief, grief that what her son is going through in society. It's just so chaotic. And she was just feeling such grief. Oh, my son's in the middle of this, chaos, and what's he learning? And then there was just this huge gratitude for the training and something that's really constructive, because her son was heard. Her son said, I did with the people I've known people all my life, and I feel closer to the people in this circle than them, just because he was, fully heard. So it was just very sort of meaningful. It's gratifying when you see something like that happen. So I just wanted to address that for the family. So any other comments? We've got still 2 minutes before we head back. And I want to say gratitude for everyone's. It was just very rich conversation, this dialogue, for me, hearing everyone.
I do believe that, the pandemic has exposed how little emphasis we place on mental health. And this year, people thought that once it became the new year, like everything's changed. we just transitioned from 31st December to 1st of January. Nothing has changed. In fact, it's going to be worse. So mental health is going to be front and center for everyone this year. And I, I mean, that's why I wanted to do this training as soon as possible, because we are going to feel the need for it.
Yeah,
I
especially
really agree.
in your area, Elsa. I feel like I think about the kids that have been home for the almost a year that are not in good places. And they're going to be possibly returning back to the classroom this year. I mean, some are in where I live, nobody's in school right now. It's all virtual still. But I think you're right. We're going to be finding out like the impacts of this pandemic. It's not going to be good, I don't think, mental health wise.
Yeah. And I think it's just the beginning,
Yeah.
like, people say this is new normal. This isn't the new normal, folks.
Yeah.
We're heading into some really rocky stuff. The whole thing that happened in the Capitol in the US here, people are, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse, just on all levels, like, what you guys are talking about on your level, but on every level, food is going to become more scarce. It's just, anyways.
Yeah. Definitely seems like before it gets better, it's going to have a harder, yeah.
Just lost my group. Oh.
Tina's joined us.
Yeah, people will be coming back. We're closing
Oh,
the
I see.
rooms, so we'll have about a 10, 12-minute debrief. We have about 30 seconds before everybody's kind of forced back.
I just wanted to add to what other people have said about, it's reinforced, this sharing and listening here this evening has reinforced for me the need for empathic listening within my own community. It's a very different feel we're in sort of second lockdown here, second major lockdown, and there's a very different feeling to this lockdown than the last one. People have retreated into their probably because it's winter, but they've retreated into their homes.
You're having
themselves a lot more. Sorry, Catherine.
No, sorry. You're having a more intense lockdown on things right now. I'm not keeping up with what's happening all over with the pandemic, but you guys are like.
Well, before we go, we could maybe do a little debrief. Everybody, welcome back, everyone. And what we want to do is just go around and just share how was the call for you, and take maybe about 30 seconds or so just to share. Linda, since you were speaking, do you want to continue? Just take about 30 seconds. How was the call for you, the circle? Any kind of insights?
I found it very, very reaffirming that offering this kind of listening circle and empathic listening is really going to be really, really important in human society. It is important. It's so important. It's reaffirmed for me how important it is.
Okay, thank you. Michelle, would you like to share something? You're muted. You just muted yourself.
Oh dear. Yeah, I just feel same in that I feel it's very reaffirming, and I'm looking forward to just kind of how the next few weeks of more learning about this. Yeah, thank you for the circle and for sharing. Yeah.
Well,
Do I
maybe,
check to someone else?
No, I'll select
Oh,
the
okay.
people just because it's a little bit quicker. Maybe I'll just share real quick. We talked about empathy in the schools, empathy in the families, in different environments. And I shared the story, but I'll just share it again, that in cohort 10, we have two mothers and their sons who came. In one of them, the 14-year-old son actually brought his mother to the training. And it was very moving. I mean, it was in the last session that we just had. I mean, she was in tears because of, just the grief of her son dealing with the world in this chaotic way that it is right now. And also sort of a gratitude, I think, for a space where he could feel heard and see something constructive. He could constructively be heard to his satisfaction, and sort of a model of how to relate constructively. So I'll just share that. So Elsa, would you like to share?
Yeah, for me, I found this really interesting. So the conversation was interesting, but also listening deeply to somebody else without judgment was interesting. And in doing so, I realized that we could still have a very rich conversation and feel fully heard.
Great, thanks. Catherine?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've participated in anything like this and any kind of listening activity like this. And it's been a wonderful reminder of how enriching that is and how important it is. So I've really enjoyed it.
Okay, thanks. Christina?
Yes, I'm chewing on a few things, but I did really enjoy it. I noticed it's a little bit like, I guess in authentic relating, they have a game called Empathy, and it's similar to that game. But it was very rich and beautiful, our session, and I was very impressed. I did notice like I wanted to tell people, oh, I'm feeling so much care for you, or oh, that's touching me. And like to wait to say that for my turn was hard. But yeah, it's very beautiful. I'm so glad you're doing this. And I want to thank you for being the kind of people that do this kind of work. Just beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. I'd be curious too how circling this could sort of combine, circling sort of your response to what is the impact of what the person has said. You're speaking of your own impact. That would be interesting to combine those.
I think I want to.
Yeah, good. Yeah, let's work on that together. So
yeah, thank you.
Graham?
I was very moved and engaged through the whole process. And we had really two situations. There was connection between 3 or 4 of us, but one of us felt rather disconnected from the process. We hadn't connected with her sense of reality and the world that she was perceiving. And that has left me with the thought that as a facilitator, and this is really put forward as a proposal for discussion, maybe not now, but if I was facilitating the group, I would orientate the speaking and listening to enable that person to feel heard and to join the group. So those are my 3 kind of big takeaways. And it was a good experience. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Graham. Bill?
Right. Okay. Yeah, I really, as I was saying, I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm always pleasantly surprised by how different it is, how different people bring their own uniqueness to it, and how it still bridges the communicative gap. So I'm just really appreciative and I hope to see you in the training. Thanks.
Thanks, Bill. Sally?
I just want to share my appreciation of just felt safe and sharing something really painful that just happened to me today, and I just unloaded something to me that was very hard, and I was able to kind of pull out of it, and I just share my appreciation.
Thanks, Sally. I'm glad you could join us again. So I think that was, oh, Katrina, I think did.
Yeah, I always appreciate Bill's facilitating, and I think I'm sort of feeling around the edges of something, and I'm not quite sure what it is. But I think Bill gave me a few clues, and it was very it was a strange circle, because I think Linda mentioned this just as we came back, how different things are in the UK. And it's like we're in kind of like two different realities, and I was grappling with that, and I've not experienced that before, and it's almost as if we're on, you know, our countries are sort of going like this at the moment, but hopefully they'll come back again. So really appreciate having been here, and hope to come back again soon.
Okay, great. Well, glad everyone could join us. I think that was everyone. So our next cohort, let me put the link in there, is cohort number 9. And it's going to be starting on February 10th on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central European time. So you can check that, and if you want to join the training, there's still space. And we will be setting up another training later in February, I think, for a time that's going to work better for India in Australia time. It'll be in your mornings. It'll be kind of late, 8 p.m. Pacific time. So that's in the works. So and you're welcome to take, you know, Elsa, this training and others, so you can take it multiple times, as I mentioned. So with that, then let me just put, that was the link to the cohort. Did I put it to the right? Yeah, I put it to the right. Missed the time. Oh, the time was 8 p.m. No, 8 a.m. The cohort 9 is 10 a.m. Pacific time. There we go. So that was Michelle just posted that question. So here's the link to our feedback form. So just like a way to get your name and your email is if you click on that link. If you click on that link right now, I just put in there to the orientation feedback form. Everybody there, if you just click on it, and if you add your email address right now and your name, and then if you continue, you know, filling that out after we close the session, then just hit the return, you know, the submit, and then we'll have your contact info. It's just a way for us to have your new message. Thanks, Katrina. Good luck. Yeah. So hopefully everybody, is everybody there? Is everybody able to click on that?
I have
Dina?
a question. I have a question.
Okay.
Like, how do we save that link from? I don't know how to save it to click on it after the call.
Oh, after the call. So
Yeah.
you're seeing where you post to, you know, where you post there, it says file, you know, down there in the chat, it says file.
Oh, okay.
And then next to the file is 3 dots. And then it'll say save chat. And that'll save the whole chat to your computer. You have to see where it saves it. It's, you know, it's.
It'll save it to a Zoom file. Yeah.
The other thing you can do, Christina, is if you click on the link and open it up right now, you can actually bookmark it to your on your internet, on
browser,
your browser.
right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
crowd.
thank you so
Those are
much.
2 ways. Yeah, those are 2 ways. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you so much. Zoom.
Okay, yeah, so you'll have that. If you fill that out, that's the last step. So with that, we're right on time. So if you can just get twinkle fingers, you know, good, you know, so Katrina, let's get a twinkle finger. Come on, we got to get it. This is our group photo. Elsa, this is the mirror neurons. Like when you mirror something, you get in the synchronicity and it releases oxytocin. So, okay, we'll see you next time. Hope to see you in the training.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for taking part. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you, Katrina.
See you. Not on Facebook, though.